Hi, I'm Jennifer Woodford, and I'm going to be doing this Test 3 Math 117 review. Now, I'm going to be going over this, and this is a pretty long review, but it covers pretty much everything you'll see on the test. I think most of the problems on the test are probably going to be easier than this, and they will be, most of them will be multiple choice, if not all of them. One of the things you will need is if you have a scientific calculator or a graphing calculator, I'll talk about some probability things that are shortcuts using the calculator. I'm not going to do them all by hand because I can tell you how to do it in the calculator. If you're not sure about how to do it with me telling you, I know it's a little hard trying to listen to what I'm saying, and I could be wrong because I don't have a calculator in front of me to verify. You can always come on down to the lower level of the library, try to find me or one of our math tutors, and we can show you how to do some of this in the calculator itself. Now, let's start with number one. Number one says write the sample space of the probability experiment of tossing a coin 3 times. Well, if you're tossing a coin, your choices are heads or tails. There's 2 choices, and I'm going to throw it 3 times. So, heads or tails the first time, heads or tails the second time, heads or tails the third time. So I have 8 possible combinations of this coming out for answers, okay? When I've tossed them 3 times of combinations of, heads or tails. So we need to write them out. Usually they want you to write them in these brackets for a sample space. So I could have, throw my coin 3 times, and I could end up with heads, 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 okay? I can also end up with tails, 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 and I need to come up with 6 more combinations of these heads or tails. So I could have heads, heads, tails, okay? And then I could have heads, tails, heads, and I could have tails, heads, heads, tails, tails, heads, and last but I got 2 more. I have I'll write it down here. Tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, tails. Now double check if this is 8. That is 8, and then those are all my exhaustive possible combinations of tossing the coin 3 times and getting heads or tails is my answer. And that's what they want you to do if they say write the sample space. I want you to write out what it could be. Now, this next problem is pretty involved. We have multiple things that we have to do here. It says a 2 die roll at the same time. Find the probability of getting these results. Well, some of these are kind of hard. If I'm rolling 2 die at the same time, then each die has 6 sides. So I have 6 choices when I roll the first die, and I have 6 choices when I roll the second die. 6 times 6 is 36, so I have 36 possible choices. Okay? So, from here, a sum of 9. Well, I have some numbers that when I add them together, I can get 9. Okay? So 9 can be 5 plus 4. It could also be, 4 plus 5, for instance. And it could also be 6 plus 3, or 3 plus 6. See, in this case, if you're having 2 different numbers when you're throwing them, it matters if the 6 is first or the 3 is first. They count as 2 choices. Okay? So if I were to just write out the first one like I did, there's 2 of them, 5 plus 4 and 4 plus 5. Same with 6 plus 3. There's 2 of them, 6 plus 3 and 3 plus 6. Yeah, it's the same thing, but it's different if the first die is 3 when the first die is 6. So I add these up. This is 4 out of 36. And then I reduce that fraction to 1/9, which is my answer. Okay. The next one says a sum of 7 or 11. In that case, we're going to add our possible results. So a sum of 7. Well, how do I get 7? 7 is 6 plus 1. I can also do 5 plus 2 and 3 plus 4. Now remember, there's 2 of these, 2 each. So this actually makes for a total of 6 out of 36 for this one, okay? Now, my other choice was 11. Well, 11, there's only one way to do it. 5 plus 6, but again, there's 2 of them, because I have 6 plus 5 as well. So this is 2 out of 36. And now I'm going to add those together to get 8 out of 36, which whenever I reduce my fraction gives me 2 out of 9. And that's my answer. Now, this next one is doubles. Now, in the case of doubles, and we're going to see this with a couple of the other ones we have left to do, is that, remember, I said, if you're throwing it, it does matter which number comes first. You have like 6 and 1. If the 6 comes first and the 1 comes first in a different one, those are 2 different things. That's why they count twice. But doubles are the same. That's when you throw, a 1 and a 1 at the same time. So it doesn't matter. So it's not going to be 12 out of 36. It's going to be 6 out of 36, okay? So I write it up here, 6 out of 36, which reduces down to 1/6. So we haven't seen any yet where we get the same thing, like 2 plus 2. In that case, there's only going to be one of them, okay? We're going to see that with the very next problem. The next problem says a sum of less than 9. This is where it gets a little tricky here, okay? So a sum less than 9, I have to go through all my numbers and figure out what sums are less than 9. We're going to start with the smallest number, 1. Okay? So how do I, if I start and I go 1 plus 1, that's less than 9, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3, 1 plus 4, 1 plus 5, and 1 plus 6. Now, in my review, someone said, what about 1 plus 7? That's less than 9. And I said, well, we're talking about a 6-sided die here. Okay, it's not going to be anything bigger than 6. So here's all my possibilities. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the doubles from my answer, okay? So in this case, I have 6 of these repeated twice. So then this comes out to be a total of 12. Remember, I'm going to subtract my doubles. I know you're sitting there looking at that going, wait a minute, what did she just say? We'll deal with that later. So now we'll start at 2. Well, I've already done 1 plus 2 and 2 plus 1 with this 12 here, okay? So I start with 2 plus 2. And I have 2 plus 3, 2 plus 4, 2 plus 5, and 2 plus 6, okay? And I have 10 of these, and I know we're counting the double for now. I'll remember. Next, I go to my 3's. I have 3 plus 3 because I've already exhausted 3 plus 2 in the previous one. 3 plus 4 and 3 plus 5. Those are all less than, less than 9, right? Okay. So, in this case, this will give me 6 of these. Alright? Now, last but not least, I'll end up, and I'm going to switch to back to different color. I'll have my 4, which is just 4 plus 4. That's it. So I have 2 of these. Now, in each one of these, I'm only going to count one of my doubles. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 things to subtract, okay? I'm not subtracting both of them, just one this time. So I add up. 12 plus 10 plus 6 plus 2 is going to give me 30. So 30 minus 4 is going to give me 26. So I have 26 out of 36 possible chances to get a sum less than 9, which if I reduce that down, I get 13 out of 18. Okay? I know, it's a pretty difficult problem here. It's pretty involved, and you have to really think this out. So I'm really hoping your teacher won't put a question like this on the test just for the fact that it will take a lot of your time. Now, the last one in this question says a sum greater than or equal to 10. Well, that's not too bad. Okay, equal to 10, find some sums that are greater than or equal to 10. So I would have, in this case, let me just draw a line like this. 6 plus 4, that's going to be equal to 10. 5 plus 6 is greater than 10. 6 plus 6, and 5 plus 5. So equal to 10 and greater than 10 of these 4. But notice in these two, I've doubled. I'm going to take out my doubles. So really, I have 2 of these, 2 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these. But I have a total of 6. So 6 out of 36 reduces down to 1/6. Okay, and that's all of these. So please, when it comes to the questions about dice, make sure you know your size of your dice and so on. Let's look at this next one, okay? You're going to have to know stuff about cards, like how many kings and queens and, aces and how many, spades and clubs and hearts and diamonds there are, red cards and black cards, and know all those things. Okay, teacher's not going to take any tests. So, in a standard deck of cards, how many jacks are there? Well, there's 4 of every card, 1 of each suit. There's 4 suits. So, you're going to have 4 jacks. So, 4 out of 52, reduce that down, it's going to give me 1 out of 13. Okay? The next one says a jack of clubs. Well, guess what? It's very specific. There's only 1 of them, 1 out of 52. I'm done. A diamond or a heart. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. Diamonds and hearts are all the reds, right? So, half the deck is red, 26 out of 52, which is 1/2. Or, that there's 13 diamonds and there's 13 hearts, and see, I'm going to add them. I get 26 out of 52, and then I still would reduce that down to 1/2, so I'm still going to get the same thing. And last but not least, a black king. Well, there's 2 different types of black cards, so 2 out of 52 reduces down to 1 out of 26. And I'm done with this problem, okay? Make sure you know how many kings, how many of the colors, how many of the suits, what they are, so that you can solve these problems on the test, telling how many are there. 52 on the deck, 4 of each card. You have 4 suits. Half of them are red, half of them are black. Okay, hopefully that helps you out. Now this next question, all right, says here, a couple has 3 children. Find the probability. Now, if you have 3 children, again, it kind of goes back to the quarter one where you have 2 choices, a boy or a girl. So, first one could be a boy or a girl, second one could be a boy or a girl, third one could be a boy or a girl. So I have 8 total combinations of having boys and girls or children here. The first one says all boys. Well, that would be the case of like earlier, whenever we saw if we threw the coin and we got heads, heads, heads. There was only one of them, right? So this would be 1 out of 8 is the probability of that happening, okay? Now the next one's saying all boys or all girls. Well, again, we already know all boys is 1 out of 8. And guess what? All girls is also 1 out of 8 because there was a question in the first one that said, with the quarter, there was one that was heads, 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 and there was one that was tails, tails, tails. So all boys or girls, or in all these problems, it has us add. So I add these together and I get 2 out of 8, which reduces down to 1/4. That's the answer for that one. Now we're going to do the last one before we put this on this page. Okay. It says in 2004, 57.2% of all enrolled college students were female. Choose one enrolled student at random. What's the probability the student was male? Hey, guess what? What is 100% minus 57.2? Oh, it is 42.8. So if you're drawing, picking a random student, the percentage that they're male is 42.8%, or your teacher might write it like a decimal, 0.4428. Okay? Either way is correct. All right, I'm going to stop here before I continue on to the next page.